Welcome to this week's Investment Trends, where we discuss what's going on in the stock market and the economy. So this week, the week of May 20th, kicked off with meeting minutes from the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve, in their meeting minutes, expressed concerns over their lack of progress on inflation over the past couple of months. So they have stated that the inflation rate has held steady, a little below 4%, and this is not quite where they want the inflation rate to be. So the Federal Reserve's target for inflation is 2%, and they're saying that these last few percentage points are becoming very, very sticky, leading many investors to believe that they will not cut interest rates this year, or those talks are getting pushed back farther and farther. One of the things that they continue to look at is consumer spending, which remains high, and also a pretty strong labor market. Also this week, we had the Investor Day from JP Chase. As Jamie Dimon expressed, he is looking to step down within the next 5 years from JP Morgan. Now, his job as the CEO for JP Morgan is to obviously protect a lot of downside risk in the market. So when he comes out with statements, typically they're a little bit doom and gloom. So what he described is a couple of headwinds for the market and what he sees. We might see a stagflation scenario, which in his mind would lead to a hard landing for the stock market. However, this is not unlike Jamie Dimon, where last year predicted that we would see a hurricane coming on in the stock market, when obviously, thankfully, that did not happen for stocks, as we had one of the best years on record. So something to keep an eye on as we saw the Federal Reserve minutes, also some of the comments from Jamie Dimon. Then things pivoted and all eyes were focused on NVIDIA. So leading up to the earnings reports for NVIDIA, we saw the NASDAQ reach a record high. So it hit a new all-time high on the NASDAQ, and the NVIDIA earnings reports did not disappoint. So NVIDIA was up their sales were up over 200% for the third straight quarter. The company announced that they will do a 10-to-1 stock split for those investors of record as of June 10th. So we saw another gangbuster earnings report for NVIDIA as they described what is an insatiable demand for their products. Obviously, this stock crossed over $100 per share, so a phenomenal performance for this stock. We will start to see more and more competitors entering this field. Earlier in the week, we saw Microsoft announce a deal with Qualcomm for some of their chips. So something to keep an eye on, even though NVIDIA has been on a great tear. It's been obviously one of the best stocks over the past 2 years. What type of competitors will start to enter this space? Another news from Bank of America research report, they are stating that there is a scarcity in commodities. So one of the charts that Bank of America released is if you had 60% of your portfolio in stocks and 40% into commodities, that would actually outperform the traditional 60-40 mix of stocks and fixed income. So they are stating that with all of the AI surgence that we will start to see obviously stress on the power grid and start to see some of these utility companies and some of these commodities could have their day in the sun. So they're a little bit undervalued right now. And some of these commodity ETFs to look at would be COM, COMT, and USCI. So that's a way where you can start to gain some commodities exposure to your portfolio. It's a way to diversify it, and over these next couple of years could lead to outperformance over fixed income. So something to keep your eye on, something to look into. If you have any stock picks, any investment ideas, feel free to leave a comment below.